Mobtv.
Sir, the name Dr. Abalaka has many definitions to it. Some people say you're quack. Some people say you're stubborn. Some people say that your vaccine is not real. So, but this has given a lot of definitions about you. How best can you describe yourself?
Well, thank you very much. For me, I can say outright that irrespective of the definition of their quack, I'm not a quack, even in an unreasonable definition. I'm a well-trained medical professional. I've gone through all the stages from secondary school to A-levels, higher school certificate. We call those days Cambridge and WASC was the combination. I was in the first set of medical students from Mobtv University, Zaria, starting in October 1967 to June 1972. After that, I did a training in immunology in Ibadan. Then I went to study surgery for 5 years and ended up with a fellowship of the Nigerian Medical College of Surgeons. After that, I worked as a surgeon and rose through the levels until I became a chief consultant surgeon at the Gwagwalada Specialist Hospital here, now University of Abuja Teaching Hospital. So if anyone calls me a quack in the field of medicine, I think they are just jokers. I'm basically a very honest, hardworking, patriotic Nigerian citizen. I love my country. I have the interest of people's life and health at my heart always. Okay. Those are the basics about me.
All right, that's beautiful. Like you've heard, like he is well read. He went to school. He's not quack. So it does not matter what they say about him. This is the true nature of the whole thing. So, sir, what led you into discovering the cure for HIV, like looking out for a vaccine?
Okay. Please, for us to know why I became involved in HIV, we must know the background. When I finished as a doctor in 1972, the word HIV was not known to the world. Even AIDS was not known to the world. It's around 1979 that they started reporting odd cases of acquired immunodeficiency syndrome, starting from the US. People had all sorts of speculations. What could it be? The people had normal immune system at birth, so it's not congenital. Later in life, they acquired it. So they called it acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. All sorts of theories were flying. That it was caused by fungus, some said by virus, some said it was caused by those who were taking drugs. So people didn't know the cause. So they started research to try and identify the cause. Along the line, the Americans announced on 23rd April 1984 that they had isolated the virus that caused AIDS. That time, the name was not called HIV. It was later on the international committee got together and decided to call the virus HIV. The French were the first to isolate it. They call it LAV, lymphadenopathy virus. And the Americans called it LHTV or LHTV2 or 3. So when they made the announcement, the American chief researcher called Robert Gallo told the world that we're now growing the virus in the lab. Very soon, that's the main thing. Very soon, a vaccine will be available. In the next 2 years, a vaccine should be available for human trial. And in 3 years' time, there should be a vaccine for AIDS. So all of them started the research. While making that announcement, he went ahead to tell the world that what we'll do is very simple. We'll just take a part of the envelope, the outer covering of the virus, just as we are doing for hepatitis B now, and with that, we'll just turn it into a vaccine. We'll use genetic engineering techniques and change it to a vaccine. According to him, if I were a high-risk patient, I'll willingly take that vaccine. So the rest of the international community, that was the starting bell to get a vaccine for HIV. using genetic engineering techniques. Exactly. And they continued. We're waiting for them. I was a surgeon operating on people that I didn't know their condition. No HIV screening in Nigeria. What they promised us 3 years, we expected by 1987. They said, no way. The new things were coming up about the features of the virus. By 1990, that's 6 years on, they told us they would be lucky to get a HIV vaccine in 10 years' time. I said, hey, this is serious. What's going on here? I'm a surgeon. There's stigma already. They say it's sexually transmitted. 3 years? After 6 years, now say 10 years. Even now, they are still telling us that they are nowhere nearer getting a HIV vaccine than when they started in 1984. And that's 36 years on. Well, because they said they were going to use genetic engineering techniques and DNA recombinant technology, that ruled out the third world. So along the line, United Nations, all of them got together and produced a document that to conceive means thinking about. Yeah. To conceive about the idea of getting a HIV vaccine can only be done by the developed world. If you are in the third world, you cannot even think of how to get a HIV vaccine because they are going to use DNA recombinant technology, modern genetic engineering thing, to take part of the virus. The virus is ultramicroscopic. To see HIV to the naked eye is just a complex molecule. You have to magnify it about 300,000 times under the electron microscope. That ultramicroscopic thing, they are going to take a part of it to use it to get a vaccine. So the developing world was ruled out. Up to now, Nigeria has no electron microscope. So I said to myself, Jerry, you are in trouble. As a surgeon, you don't know who you are operating on. You may get HIV. My wife was then alive, a nurse. I talked to her. Trouble don't come. Say, what do you want to do? I say, no, these people, they are no experts. Those of them who are talking now, they finished as a doctor before me. They didn't know about HIV too. They just discovered in 1984. We are all beginners. Yes. That's their own approach. I'll join with my little knowledge of immunology. Say, darling, no, don't try it. The disease is terrible. Say, the next person I'm going to operate on, I don't know the status. My risk is even worse. Let me join. So after family discussion, I decided to join quietly. Quietly, I didn't approach anyone for funds. I used my family resources. I found out that the approach they were using, based on the features of the virus that they had told us, they can't get a vaccine against this virus this way. It's only against another way. It took me 6 years to come to identify how I should tackle this HIV. Remember, my aim was to get a vaccine to protect myself against the virus while operating as a surgeon. In the course of doing that, of course, I have no HIV cultures. I don't have any genetic engineering. That's it. Jerry, you have to change course. There are thousands of people with HIV. See if you can cure them. If you can cure them, you can modify that to get a preventive vaccine for yourself. And that's what I did. Wow. So the method I worked out, I didn't know who was using it in the world. It wasn't in the literature. I said, is this going to be safe? I'm going to take the blood of a person infected with HIV, treat it like this without adding any chemical. But if you add chemical to it, it means it has become a drug under NAFDAC. You must register it with NAFDAC. But as long as you are giving human blood transfusions, you don't register with NAFDAC. You take out just pure red blood cells, what we call packed cells. You are transfusing, no NAFDAC. Cryoprecipitate. Any part of human blood you take from this person to this person, NAFDAC has no involvement. It only involves the donor, the recipient, the laboratory to do the cross-matching, and the doctor to carry it out. You don't register with NAFDAC. If I get an accident now and I'm bleeding heavily, you want to give me blood, where's the time to register with NAFDAC? So I worked it out and I said, since this is my approach, I'll do with my blood. I'll take my blood, process it like that, give it to myself. Then give it to myself 4 different ways. Intradermally, into the thickness of the skin, the most painful. Subcutaneously, under the skin, in the fat. Intramuscularly, into the muscle. And intravenously, into the bloodstream.
No, sorry, sir. You actually took a blood that is contaminated with HIV.
No, I want to test the safety of the method I'm going to use.
Okay.
So I started by using my own blood.
Okay.
Treat it as I intend to do for those with HIV.
Okay.
And I will give that to myself daily.
Okay.
For 3 months.
So you used yourself,
My own blood,
as a guinea pig,
as a guinea pig,
to test your vaccine for 3 good months.
91 days to be precise.
So, which means if there was a fatality rate or an accident, you would have died.
Mobtv.
Well, so with that, I was sure that the system was very safe. You don't understand me?
I understand you.
I can't go and try it on another person. I don't know anyone who has tried it. And under the medical code, you are allowed to experiment with yourself. Okay. There's nothing unethical about that. During those 3 months, I kept on doing my laboratory tests, kidney function tests, liver function tests, hematological assays, all normal. That time, if you saw me, my arm here was all blue, like bruises from the injections. My thighs were all colored from the injections. I did that and I was satisfied. When I was satisfied that it was safe, and I said, now let me look for people who are infected with HIV. And there were many. I'll explain to them. I don't know if it is to work, but it is safe. This is what I have done. Do you want to try it? They said they will try it. I was giving it to them free.
Free of charge.
Free. I didn't know if it was going to work. So all those who consented, I gave to them free. Then in December 1998, 4 of them came here to see me. I left the specialist hospital. Why did you disappear? I have not seen you. They said, doctor, we are very healthy. That's why we've not seen us. Just came to greet you. Do you mind my taking your blood? That time we couldn't do viral load. It's just screening for antibodies against HIV. I took their 4 samples, they left. Sent them to the lab. All came back as negative.
All came back as negative.
Negative. Hey, that was December 31st. I stopped there. I sent the sample to 3 other laboratories in Gwagwalada, including the University of Abuja Teaching Hospital. All the screen were negative. I said, oh, trouble don't come. So this thing is working. But who will believe me? I like medicine because it's a profession of criticism. You criticize yourself more than outsiders. When a doctor says, go for this blood test, he's criticizing himself. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure if you have malaria. Lab, help me. Does he have malaria? From there, I say ultrasound. It's self-criticism. When doctors meet the profession, it's all criticizing. So who of my colleagues will believe me?
So at that point, just like you said, a lot of people didn't believe you. There was a lot of skepticism, criticism coming from right, front, and center. You didn't even know how to convince them, but they needed to believe you. How did you prove to your colleagues? How did you prove to fellow doctors, medical practitioners, that your vaccine works? How did you prove?
When I got those results, the next thing to do was to alert all my colleagues that I knew. I wrote to the Nigerian head of state, Abdul Salam Abubakar. He was preparing to hand over to civilians. I wrote to him. This is the development. Wrote to the American embassy in Nigeria, British embassy, French embassy, and the World Health Organization in Nigeria. Because the basic knowledge of what I use was given to me by WHO when they sent me to Geneva in October 1974 for an immunopathological conference on schistosomiasis. Schistosomiasis is a sort of worm. About how to get vaccine, When I went there, I was a bachelor. I was the youngest there. I had many elderly professors, especially from Far East, Korea. One of them picked interest in me and said, Jerry, come, you are a young man. The future of the world is immunology. That time it was a new science. Any disease that comes out is not how to produce a vaccine. You must work hard on your immunogen. In other words, what am I going to use to stimulate the appropriate immune responses? That's the most difficult part. And I never forgot that knowledge that elderly professor gave to me. So when this came up, I said, these people, their immunogen is likely wrong. Just that's what that man told me. That's when it took me about 6 years to work out my immunogen. And when my colleagues wouldn't believe, as soon as I got there, I wrote to all of them, Nigerian Medical Council, Nigerian Medical Association, all the professional nurses, all of them, that it's working. Oh. I don't want you to believe me. Send your patients. Send your patients, and you see whether it works. To me, that's the best I could do.
Okay.
That's the best I could do.
But did they send their patients to you?
Oh, many of them sent. And they have got they wrote testimonies. I'll prepare the vaccine and give to them to give to their own patients and tell me the outcome. No side effect, nothing. So that's what I try to do. On my own, when I had accumulated enough patients, enough data, about almost 4,000 of them, I wrote a medical
Journal.
article, professional article for publication, because it was a new thing. All of them turning down.
Okay, sorry, sir. You wrote to U.S. Embassy, wrote to WHO, wrote to Medical Association in Nigeria.
All of them.
Did they respond to you?
I got a few responses from then Pfizer,
Okay.
Glaxo company, and who was the third one, saying they were interested, but they wanted me to tell them the secret, the detail, my recipe. Say, no, I cannot do that. I cannot give you my recipe. I've risked my life. What are you going to pay me? Says for mankind. Say, no, I won't do that.
Okay, they wanted your recipe, your secrets. Let's put it that way. Your secret.
No, in Latin we call it recipe.
Recipe, okay. In layman, we call it secret. The secret to the business. So they wanted you to sell everything out to them just for the name of humanity.
And go
Mobtv.
and mass produce it and sell and make money. At that time, the World Health Organization had revealed that HIV was such a disaster that if anyone got a vaccine that could prevent it, at least 300 million human beings would take it immediately, even if it was with an efficacy of 20%. In other words, to protect only 1 out of 5 that get it. That was the economics of it that time, which is what it is up to now. There is no year that they don't spend billions of dollars on HIV vaccine research.
Which you have here in Nigeria.
Which I have. When I found it was working, I then modified it. Took the blood of people infected with HIV, turned it into what I would have given to them, inactivated the HIV, and gave to myself as my preventive vaccine. 3 doses. After that, I took blood from those who are infected with HIV, 2 meals, injected myself into my vein. I've done that 6 times.
And
wow. I've not picked HIV up to now.
Wow.
It's not just that I've not picked HIV. If you screen my blood for HIV, I'm antibody negative.
Antibody negative. This is incredible. Like, I'm short of words. This is so mad. Okay. Why did you think that Nigerian government ignored you?
Well, when this happened, and I don't know if maybe you were a young man that time, under Obasanjo became head of state. 1999, May 29. I wrote to him. No acknowledgement. He appointed a minister of health called Dr. Tim Menakaya. Oh, they started lambasting me on television. Everywhere. That I'm a quack. I'm a crook. I say, no problem. If you think I'm a quack, identify your patients and send them to me to treat. They refuse. I said, okay, I want to show you I've got a preventive vaccine against HIV. I'm blood group O positive. Look for any HIV infected person that is blood group O positive. Do your test, I'll do mine. We gather publicly. I'll take the blood you watch and inject myself. We gather again 3 months. You test me to see if I've developed the HIV, which is the time it takes for to develop antibodies. They refuse. They say it's unethical. Say, what's unethical? Is it unethical to watch?
Or to test?
I didn't ask you to do anything. You are not even to hold me. I would take the blood and give myself. What's unethical about it? They refuse. Of course, they know why they refuse. Because if they do that, they can't run away from it. Good.
So you talked about like the money that Nigeria makes from HIV. Do you think is the reason why they don't want to see you around?
The what? The what?
The money, the amount of money they make from HIV in this country. Do you think is the reason why?
The interest of the white is in their economy. When they found they couldn't produce the vaccine, they then look for drugs to suppress the drug, antiretrovirals that don't cure. And they are now using that all over the world, making billions out of the poor countries. So anyone who claims, during in the development of HIV vaccine research, to get vaccines for it, America, Britain, and France got together. It's public knowledge, saying that the way our researchers are going, it's likely this HIV vaccine will be developed by one of us. Whether it's American researcher or anything, they profit from it. Whoever all of us will share equally. So they know the economics of it. Having come out to produce WHO authorized document, United Nations authorized document, say only the developed world can conceive how to produce a HIV vaccine. How do you expect America with human pride to admit that a single person working in Nigeria, a black man, has developed a vaccine against HIV? That is the problem they are facing. And I come from a country where we have no scientific background. Our best technological achievement up to today, whatever your tribe, is the masquerade. Everything is prayer. Everything is spirit. So we are not a scientifically oriented person. Since the white say they cannot produce it, the stupid leaders we have, like Obasanjo and his group, they say Dr. Abalaka was a quack. How can he say he has got a solution to what the Oyibos cannot produce? I understand the limitation of their brain. That is the prison we are in.
Like you've seen that it is no longer possible for Nigeria to accept. It is no longer forthcoming for Africa to even accept. And we know, or we've always had the mindset that outside Nigeria, they appreciate talent. They appreciate hard work. Why didn't you leave Nigeria, maybe to United States, to any other country where you'll be appreciated?
What was I going to do there? If I had been foolish away, in Nigeria as my country, I cannot be deported. I have basic right, I can talk. I enjoy my weather. I've been to those countries, I hate their weather. Here now it's warm and comfortable. I enjoy going about, enjoy with my Nigerian friend. And because I was brought up to think of witches as being white, I'm sorry to say, anytime I see the white person, it reminds me of being of witches.
Okay, to you, witches are white. Whoa, that's hilarious. That's hilarious.
So, if I should go abroad, they will look for opportunity to get the knowledge of me and kill me. Okay. And kill me. No one will hear anything about it. They will arrange my death. So that they tried it under Obasanjo. Obasanjo got in touch with me, with his people, and said, I should raise a team of 7 people to go to US, review the secret to them, and come back. Oh. But before I go, I should give him an account number. They'll pay 10 million into it. When I go and come back, the Americans will announce it as their discovery so that the world will accept. Then I can use my 10 million naira. He thinks I'm a mumu. He knows I won't enjoy that money. He knows I won't come back. The Obasanjo and Nigerian are hailing there. It's worse than the devil called Satan.
We have a lot of cases. A lot of people have HIV. They are dying. They are suffering from this illness or virus. Have you been curing them?
Oh, I have many cases that are cured. When I publish my work, for those of us in science, when you discover something, you publish it. You can't publish the same article twice. Okay. That means when you want to you have done your research, you can only send to one medical journal at once. If that one rejects, you try another one. If that one rejects, once that one accepts, you cannot send it to any other person. Good. When I was ready to publish my work, that time the world was not like this with internet. I had to go to London, look for addresses of journals, look at their how you are to submit your article. For example, here is vaccine. They will tell you, see, vaccine notes for authors, okay, which will tell you exactly what format they want. I chose 6 of them. I chose 6 of them and came back and wrote my article. First one, rejected. Second one, rejected. Third one, rejected. Fourth one, rejected. Fifth one, rejected. I was only left with one, vaccine. And I had sent to these places in Scandinavia. In Britain, I started with Britain. In Britain, Lancet, so they rejected. 2 in America, they rejected. I said, I've left one left. I have no money to go back to
London, to the white people.
Good. I will send it to England again. The address of the author, see, the editor is in England. Yes. I said I won't send it to him. I decided to send it to the address in Japan. Look for the address in Japan here. See, Japan. I made everything, hard copied, and sent it by courier mail to Japan. I got a response. Say, sorry, you are not in our region. I say, oh. Hey, this is my work.
Okay.
So he then told me, I was sending it to the editor in England. The same person I dodged. They did. Then the editor got in touch with me. Say, Jerry, I'm interested in your work.
Okay, sir. Right now, because people want to be alive, people have this virus. If you see people that will invest or come in to partner to make this your practice big and to be able to reach out to more people and save lives, would you be open to it?
Well, that is the aim. That's all I've tried to do. But I'm sorry to say, Nigerians are not interested. I even went to the University of Abuja teaching hospital here. This last year, I said, look, there are special clinic where they treat HIV or antiretroviral drugs. Mm-hmm. I said, no problem. I want you to pick 5 in early stage of HIV. I'll treat them free for you. You just do their test and monitor it. They said they are not allowed to do it. Whoa. Oh! Said they are not allowed to do it. When people say I'm a quack, I'm not a quack. I'm after the health of humanity. The worst thing is that I started for HIV. We have HIV worldwide. They say only about 35 million people are infected. I say only 35 million. COVID has not reached 3 million yet. Good. Now, hepatitis B virus infects more people, about 170 million worldwide.
And it's worse than HIV.
It's a pandemic. Hepatitis C virus infects about 70 million. So when I started working on this HIV vaccine, some of my patients had both HIV and HCV. Others had hepatitis B and HIV. I'll make sure those people's blood I'll give only to them, not to any other person. To my surprise, the vaccine, they will test negative for hepatitis B first. And HIV, they are left with HIV. The same thing with hepatitis C. Being a surgeon, I didn't know. I just reported my observations. When this professor, the editor of this vaccine, looked into he asked me to send him all the records of all my patients. I did, sent all of them to him. Each one has a folder like this. Send them to him. Eventually, I had to go to London to discuss with him. Say, Jerry, you have got this thing. Do you know why it's effective against hepatitis B and hepatitis C? I say, I have no idea, Prof. I'm just a surgeon. No. He said, I know. I will tell you. That's why I know it's working. They are enveloped viruses like HIV. You design something that will knock out any cell in the body that is infected with HIV. Your system is working because hepatitis B and hepatitis C, they too leave their envelopes on infected cells. When you teach this, the normal cells, they go after anything carrying shells of viruses. That's why it's knocking out hepatitis B and C.
All right. People watching now will think that we are talking about rocket science. They will think we're talking about herbs. They will think we're talking about diabolism. You know, in Nigeria, everything is prayer, prayer, prayer. Juju, juju, juju. Pastor, 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 miracle, miracle, miracle. Is your formula scientific?
Oh, very good question. I'm not involved in herbal medicine in any way or traditional medicine. I'm an orthodox medical practitioner trained in Western medicine. I have no formal training in herbal medicine. I don't even take herbs. I know a lot about herbs because I was brought up by a father who was a herbalist traditionally, but I've never involved myself in any experimentation there. My approach, as I said before, is to do something that I can use, that I don't have to register with NAFDAC. Because I'm a doctor, it's my fringe benefit to be able to do blood transfusion or to administer blood products. So when I take the blood of people who are infected with HIV, process it, turn it into a vaccine, I add no substance of any sort. Therefore, I can take it and give it to another person and give it to another person. And it is far, far safer than blood transfusion. When we do blood transfusion, you may take a whole bag of blood, 450 mils, and give to a person. Mine is to extract the critical material, prepare a vaccine, and give you maybe 10 mils of your own blood with no chemical added. Vaccines are teachers. I treat those your blood cells in such a way that when they enter you, they will teach your normal cells. Look, any cell you see carrying HIV, go after it and destroy it. Once they learn, that's all. They fight as internal fights.
Wow. They are teachers like they are going to actually attack the virus in the body system of those carrying this HIV or carrying this virus. This is like, my mind is like, wow, right now, because I do not know that somebody in Nigeria is this, what I say, intelligent and wise to be able to come up with this approach. Yes, we know about the black man syndrome. Never let them rise. We understand the Western people don't want to even believe in us. We don't even believe in ourselves. Our government don't believe in us. But like, I'm so elated at this. I'm so happy to be alive at this time, and this moment to know that there is somebody who is in Nigeria, Gwagwalada precise, in Abuja, that has a solution to what the whole world is actually looking for. The economics is the problem. The money is the problem. Not about the vaccine, not about the solution. The solution, we have it, but we need volume. So wherever you are, you could share this video, make it go viral, like make it go trend. Never can know who is going to be interested. So, Doc, talking about this COVID-19, coronavirus, that is shaking the whole world right now. Everywhere is locked down, humbling the world. What do you have to say about coronavirus?
Mobtv.
Well, coronavirus, a respiratory tract virus. When we talk of these viruses, as I said earlier, viruses are not living things as we know. A virus cannot multiply in a person who is dead. If I have corona down and I die, corona stops multiplying. Viruses are complex molecules that cannot exist on their own. They infect a living cell and take over the energy system of that cell, control it to make more virus particles instead of their normal job. That's why they are dangerous. So a person who has died of corona is not breathing, cannot breathe it out. He's not coughing. He's not talking. His corpse is not a danger. The danger of corona is from those of us who are alive. We talk, we shout, we sneeze.
We interact.
Good. That's when we breathe out the droplets. Now corona has come out. Coronaviruses have been known to science. This one didn't come out. There are different types. I don't know if you remember SARS.
Yes.
If you remember MERS, Middle East Respiratory Syndrome, those are coronaviruses. So it's not that this is the first time coronavirus is appearing on human life. It's just another variant of it, which are, from what the researchers have said, they think it originated from a bat and crossed over to human beings. In other words, it's a zoonosis. Zoonoses are diseases that can leave animals and come to man, like rabies. There are many of them, like yellow fever from monkey to man. We call them zoonoses. So it's a zoonosis. Now that it has crossed over to man, it's affecting many, many people worldwide. Yeah. The worst thing about it is because it spreads through respiratory system when we talk and so on. So it spreads very fast. You get me?
Yes.
Unlike HIV, if I pick HIV today, I may not develop AIDS until 12 years time. This one is respiratory system. Once any cell that has got what we call ACE2 receptors, ACE2 angiotensin converting enzyme, what it affects those cells, they are mainly in the respiratory system. But they are also found in the lining of blood vessels, in the kidneys, in the intestines. So it's very, very fatal. Remember, my vaccine against hepatitis B and hepatitis C were developed. It's a side effect from my system against HIV. And as Professor Pierre rightly explained to the ignoramus like me, I know very little in virology. That is because they are enveloped viruses. The coronavirus is an enveloped virus. When it infects a cell, it leaves its envelope attached to the cell. Therefore, on scientific principles, if my government had been a sensible government with a little element of scientific thinking, they would have said, doctor, come, let's produce this, your vaccine, and give it to the health workers on the front line to protect them. You see how efficacious it is. I've never seen a case of coronavirus. None has come to me. We are not even allowed to treat them as in private sector. Good. They are all waiting for order to do. Nigerians were very lazy people intellectually. Because we don't use our brains, anyone who uses his brain is an enemy of the society. That is what they are doing. The government has never invited me. They don't send any person. They are not interested. They are waiting for the Oyibo to do it. And I'm afraid the way they are going, the disease is going to spread, community spread. The person you are talking to when you go to church, the pastor who is preaching, may be blowing out coronaviruses.
Woo!
Unlike Ebola that you have to touch. Yeah. Unlike Lassa fever, which is not infection, not through droplets. Unlike HIV, I can kiss someone with HIV, suck the saliva, I don't get it. Corona is not like that.
Yes.
2 feet away, 3 feet away, and the person shouts, droplets are coming to you. So, but if the government is interested, of course, I don't need the corona patient to prepare the vaccine.
Okay.
All I need is HIV-infected people. Prepare the vaccine. Safe. No HIV. Those who want to be protected against corona, you can try it. And you can try it on healthcare workers. as far as I'm concerned, I'm not afraid of corona. I'm immunized against HIV. So even if I take in any corona now, it's not likely. As soon as it lands, attached to myself, my body will detect it and knock it out. Because it's an envelope virus like the HIV.
Okay, sir, this is really an expose. I am so happy. I'm so elated. Like, I'm so happy meeting you, talking with you. And I believe that from this point, a lot of good things are going to happen. All right, thank you so much for watching this. And I think you've learned a lot. For me, I have learned a lot. And I still, this validates the point that the black man is being intimidated by the day. Nothing good can come from Africa. Nothing good can come from Nigeria. And our government, you people still believe same. We are still supporting the people, keeping us aground. But Dr. Abalaka has said everything that is to be said. The ball is now in our court. Investors, wherever you are, if you think there's something you need to move into investing, it's very viable. He can prove with his own self, like he has done it over and over and over again. If you have HIV, I think we'll find a way for you to reach us and communicate, so we'll know how to come around it. And I want to thank you for watching and share this video so that a lot of people, you could be saving a life by the sharing of this video. It's very important. My name is Donald and this is Mobtv. Hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. Hit the follow button on Facebook. Then on Instagram, hit the follow button. It's very important. Thank you so much and thank you for watching. Bye for now.